Well, good afternoon. Welcome into North Harbour Stadium on a stunning spring Sunday afternoon. It's a double-header today. Our two Premier Cup competitions later today. It's the Men's Chatham Cup in its 100th year. But up first, it is the Sheppard Cup, formerly, of course, the Women's Knockout Cup. It's been around for a few less years, but nonetheless still very prestigious. And two teams, Wellington United and Western Springs, looking to add this particular competition to their already storied histories. And a really open match in prospect as well, I think, between these two teams. Andrew Dewhurst with you, delighted to bring you commentary coverage throughout the afternoon. And I'm joined by former football fern and someone who knows what it is to win this competition, Sarah Gibbs. Sarah, welcome in. Nice afternoon for a couple of games of football. Beautiful conditions here, immaculate pitch. We have got some solid Friday weekend footy here for you, and looking forward to a really open match in the domestic women's premier fixture here. Embarrassment of riches we've had in women's football with the Women's World Cup, of course, over the past month or so. Yeah, it's just been so much fun, and we can add to that today in 2023 with a little domestic history to be made as well. Let's look at the two lineups. First up, Wellington United, and they're missing a couple of key players. That's something we should highlight first. Francesca Grange and Sarah Alder, two of their premier defenders, both away with the New Zealand football futsal ferns in a training camp, but nonetheless a very strong side, average age of 20, very young. They've got goals galore. Danny Olsen with 123 goals, Natalie Olsen 73, Gemma Robertson 142 goals. So they will threaten in the attacking third when they get given the opportunity. The key might be how well can they stay with Springs early on. Well, a few moments ago, Sarah caught up with their head coach, Guillermo Shilton-Wolf.
Guillermo, thanks for joining me pre-match. Your team won the Sheppard Cup in 2021. Has that sense of we've been here before, we can do it again, been a source of confidence for your side this week?
Hopefully, yes. I was talking to the girls before, and the goal is to keep writing our history instead of like being part of the history. But again, it's a football game, anything can happen, but the girls are ready.
You withstood a lot of early pressure in that semi-final match. Is that a key work on for your team this week, to start early and assert some early dominance?
Definitely. Again, this is football. In the semi-final, we planned to play a specific style of football. It didn't work out. We ended up defending really well against the top team. Hopefully today we can show the people and we can show ourselves that we can play nice football style.
All the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guillermo, who has been a part of this team since 2011, also had a spell with the Wellington United men's side, but he's been a part of this club for a long time already. Well, their opposition, Western Springs, might be the favourites going into this one, finishing third in the Northern Women's Premier competition this year, behind Auckland United and Eastern Subusrbs. Look for Garcia and Colby out wide to provide attacking threat. Liz Savage to boss the game from midfield, the number 28, and they're anchored at the back by Lily Jervis, their skipper, who has had a couple of weeks off with an ankle injury but is fit and ready to go. Sarah caught up earlier with head coach Maya Vink.
Hi Maya, thanks for joining me pre-match. It's your third week as head coach of this team, a big moment to take charge. How have you approached this in your preparations?
Yeah, it's been a pretty quick turnaround. We've had 2 league games to prepare. And we've used that as a chance to kind of see the wider group as well. So embed some of the learnings, change a few things principally, and kind of work towards this as a bit of a starting point, you know. So we've kind of built up across the last 3 weeks for this game. So it's nice to have a bit of a pinnacle event to train towards. And the girls have had 2 really good weeks of training recently. A little bit disjointed with secondary schools kind of being away, girls being away there, and a few girls been away for the FIFA Women's World Cup final as well, which you want to celebrate. And but they've come back with a real new energy for the game, and very excited for this match in particular.
And given the mid-season challenges of this team, it would be quite fitting to win the Sheppard Cup. Has that been reflected on this week?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's been a massive year for everyone. So from the club, from the players, from Caleb, who's taken the team throughout the whole season. Everyone's had to work really, really hard in terms of even just being in a position to play a game, let alone go and win games and perform really well. So to be here today is a really momentous occasion. I've told them to go and enjoy it. I want them to go and enjoy their football now, and after having so much success off field, and really setting the example, I think, for a lot of other clubs and women's teams across the country. I think it's important now that they can go and do the business on the field and enjoy the moment after what has been a pretty hard year for everyone involved.
Well put, Maya. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Maya Vink with those thoughts as referee Anna-Marie Kiley leads her officials and the respective teams out onto North Harbour Stadium as kick-off edges ever closer. And for those not aware of the backstory that Sarah alluded to there in the interview with Maya and her response, Western Springs have been at the forefront of gender equality really in women's football at club level here in New Zealand, and made a real statement with a stance earlier this year, so all power to them. And Western Springs have taken that on board, and as Maya said, perhaps an example for other clubs to follow as the teams line up in readiness. And they jump across with the handshake, and I wonder whether they might have jumped the gun here ahead of the national anthem, Sarah. Might be a few nerves from some of these players.
Yeah, there certainly will be a few nerves. It will be a bit of a frenetic start, I think. Finals footy, it's a, one-off, knockout match, winner-take-all. Anything can happen.
Well, certainly on my run sheet, I had a national anthem ready to be played, but whether the players are aware of that, they've scarpered off. The fans are in attendance and ready. And so often it is overcoming the nerves. Wellington United missing a couple of key players. They're very young, but they do have 9 of their starting 11, Sarah, that played in that 2021 campaign winning this title. Does that help them going into today?
I think it does. I mean, like I said to Guillermo pre-match, they have been here before. 9 of them, in particular, have literally been here before and done the business. So that must be a source of confidence for them going into this match.
So the final photo opportunity for both teams. And both teams have qualified, of course, for the National League. So they will come up against each other again in the weeks to come. Some nervous smiles perhaps, but interesting that both coaches have very much made that point that they've got to enjoy the game today. They've got to play with a freedom and express themselves, as we see Lily Jervis, the skipper, mention that ankle injury. She's been rested for a couple of weeks coming into this one. Sam Tafaru as well, the number 11 for Western Springs, has not long ago returned from concussion protocols. So Western Springs pretty much at full strength, whilst Wellington United, I mentioned Grange and Alder, they're also missing Anna Green and Asha Strom, famous name out of Wellington football. Asha headed away to the UK some time ago this season, but headed away for an opportunity over there. And if you're wondering, yes, related to a niece of Jeff and Dave, two absolute stalwarts of Wellington football back in the days, I think, when it was WDU, Wellington Diamonds United. Sarah, I might be going too far back for you, but the Strom family very strong in football in the capital city.
Yes, as you mentioned, it will be quite an interesting contest in the sense that Western Springs has strengthened their front line, whereas Wellington United have had a few impacts on their back line, including their captain, Sarah Alder. So, whereas Western Springs strengthened, Wellington United's weakened, so might be a bit of exposure there.
And I take it all back, the nerves are all mine. It was a FIFA fair play anthem that we were playing, not the national anthem that was due. So the players are all on script, they know exactly what they're doing. Let's see who is sharpest in the opening minutes of this encounter. It will be Western Springs playing in their traditional hoops, who will kick off playing from left to right here at North Harbour Stadium. Still has a few markings out there from the oval ball code, but the pitch is in great shape, as it is Springs who get us underway in this Cape Sheppard Cup final. Just unable to maintain possession, Lara Kolpe, New Zealand age group international. These early minutes, Sarah, will be critical for Wellington United especially. They've travelled They may be coming up against a Northern League opponent, may feel that they are the underdogs and be a little more nervous, so they've got to settle well here, haven't they?
They do. They've just got to get the ball under control, at their feet, get used to their opponents. They haven't come across each other before, possibly for a few years. You know, everyone's just got to get their foot on the ball, calm the nerves, and stick to the game plan. But they will be feeling each other out for a while and expect a pretty frenetic first 5 or 10 minutes.
Wellington just stringing a few passes together, looking very patient as they look to build through Robertson. And it is a corner, so deflection. So an opportunity here for Wellington to just see how well practiced they are at set-piece time.
And of course in the semi-final, Sarah Alder converted a corner by way of an Olympico, and that was the difference in that semi-final. She's not here today, so we've got an outswinger.
Wellington United not with a good first delivery. That'll be a disappointment to Guillermo Shilton-Wolf, I'm sure, on the bench. They've got to try and take those opportunities, especially early in the match. Put some pressure on. Maybe just ask a question of Mickey Mitchell in goal for Western Springs. Free kick here will just allow Springs to clear the danger.
Great composure there by Tiana Hill. Just turning inward to her captain, Lily Jervis, content to keep the ball at feet, not just pump it downfield.
What has gone downfield to Foru. She had acres of space there and couldn't control. There was a stumble there in the back line from Zoe Barrett, and just for a moment it looked like Sam Taforu was going to be in and on goal. Could not get the ball under control though. What an early chance, Sarah.
That was an unfortunate stumble by Zoe Barrett. And early warning signs from Western Springs, looking to play very direct.
And just looking there on the left of picture, they've got a very high line and almost playing with an attacking line of 4 in the press, in the high press. Savage is pushing forward out of midfield. There she is now, putting pressure on the ball. And now Garcia, the American. So clearly looking to pounce and put some pressure on. Here they come now. Savage rolling the ball. Too much on that though. And Taforu can't collect. Molly Simmons does. 21 years of age. Former New Zealand secondary schools representative. Playing her 99th game today for Wellington United. So like a lot of players young in age in this team, but they've got plenty of experience in the side.
Yes, and she plays like an experienced player as well. She's got a lot of composure. She has demonstrates experience beyond her years. She really does command that that area. She's a key part of that very robust rear guard Wellington United team.
Innes battling away and just keeping possession, and now Western Springs all the way back to Mitchell, another American in this lineup alongside Garcia. Springs go direct again, this time down the right wing side. And it is Savage, again in a very advanced position. Squares it across. Who's there getting in just with a toe was Garcia, sneaking in from the blind side, but couldn't get enough purchase towards goal.
Very good build-up play by Western Springs. Certainly getting the best of this first 5 minutes.
So United for now going to persist and stay true to that tactic of trying to play out from the back, but they need to be a little more accurate. Maya Vink, I think a thumbs up there, likes what she's seen in the opening 5 minutes. As Wellington pinch that one and again try and build from the back here.
Yeah, they did get stretched a bit out of shape there, didn't they? Not sure where Zoe Barrett got to, but she was a bit missing in action in the backyard, back line there.
It is a high press, but initially the first pass to a centre-back. Interested in your thoughts, Sarah, tactically as to the way this unfolds, but Springs are being patient on that first pass, but then they're ready to pounce, aren't they, with a high line to try and put some pressure on perhaps the second player for Wellington to receive the ball.
Yeah, they do appear to be pretty relaxed about letting that back line hold the ball and give them some time, and then press that second phase ball.
Having to come across and provide some cover was Lillian Davies, the 16-year-old. What a day, what a stage for Lillian Davies. Playing her 31st game for Wellington United. Garcia in the penalty area, needs support. Is able to turn out, and then a little wasteful with the pass. Natalie Olsen, who is listed to be leading the front line, was helping defensively there. Not related, in fact, different spelling. Nat Olsen and Danny Olsen, both 21 years of age. As Barrett again is forced to go long this time. Pretty good ball though on the diagonal. Control just letting Wellington down momentarily. And certainly Western Springs, they're well capable of a possession-based game, the Auckland side. But they're showing a keenness to be a little more direct. And perhaps, Sarah, that's looking to capitalise if there aren't any nerves from Wellington United, then play the game down in this part of the field as Savage gets clear of one challenge, but not the second. It was a good one, wasn't it, from Hope Gilchrist. Had to win possession there and now rolls the pass back to Simmons.
Yes, this defence has been impressive. They've conceded only one goal in their run-up to the Kate Sheppard Cup final. Although they were missing a few key players, including their centre-back, Sarah Alder, today, they should be well organised.
Garcia turns on the halfway line. Rolls the ball back into midfield. Nice little drop of the shoulder and making good progress, Western Springs. And then the last touch again, just letting them down. It was an intelligent little ball from Tafaru, but Garcia, just a heavy touch, and Wellington survive.
Yeah, nice ball movement there. 1-2 touch, carving open the Wellington United defence. Western Springs looking likely at this stage.
Davies, Olsen, closed down quickly, and Western Springs might capitalise here. Tafaru down to the byline, just dinks that across goal, and an easy catch for Molly Simmons.
Yeah, nobody home there on that occasion from Western Springs. They had enough time to anticipate that cross. Then to get numbers forward. Surprisingly, they're letting Liz Savage roam quite freely in that hole up top there. She would be one of their biggest attacking weapons. They need to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, had 2 goals in the extra time win over Coastal Spirit. It was 5-1, but that's deceptive. It was 1-1 at the end of regulation time. But, Liz Savage popped up with 2 of the 4 goals scored in extra time. Western Springs under a little pressure here for the first time, and Jervis just across in cover and had to make a couple of challenges, the skipper. So playing a high press can come with a risk or two, and that is if your backline is also playing very high, you may be susceptible to a ball over the top, and Jervis had to be very aware and get across in cover. A couple of weeks off with that ankle injury, she might be just struggling for a little match fitness perhaps, and just wanting to get a second wind, albeit we're only 10 minutes into the match. It can affect you, can't it, when you've been out of the action for a little while. And Lily does look like she's just breathing in a few big breaths there just to try and get back into the pace of a game.
Yeah, absolutely. The only way to get match fit is to play matches. If you haven't been playing matches, you might feel a bit underdone.
Gilchrist from skipper to skipper, and Gilchrist goes back to her keeper. Again,
just holding off, letting the back line have it. And now they press Western Springs.
This is where they try and pinch it, and they've got to be clever in midfield, have Wellington. If you can pass your way through the press, it can lead to very good things, but you do not want to turn possession over.
Nice little dink by Sam Tafari there.
Gilchrist has it taken away from her, but Colby can't keep that in play. And it will be a goal kick for Wellington United.
Well, pretty intense stuff in the first 10 minutes. Western Springs probably having the better value for it.
Yeah, I think equally Wellington will be pleased that they've come through unscathed, and really, despite the territorial dominance, Springs have not really put too much pressure on Molly Simmons in goal. Springs passing into midfield. Nice little triangles there just to elude the pressing Wellington players. Innes, left wing side, looking for the overlapping Lee, and just played him behind the fullback.
She is class. Jess Innes, natural left foot. So she probably naturally errs to play out to that left-hand wing.
Brooke, who might be familiar with a few of the opposition today. Natalie Brooke, the 16 for Wellington United, formerly with Western Springs. Jervis, chance for Colby. First real opportunity now for the age group international down this right wing side. Well marshalled initially, but Springs do have a throw.
Yes, it might be a good little tussle between Colby and Catherwood there, number 11 for Wellington United. And I think it's a corner, the first corner for Western Springs.
So Wellington United forced the first corner of the match, but now Springs, as time ticks over the 13-minute mark. Maya Vink, who literally drove from Wellington and arrived at Western Springs ground for their semi-final that day. She literally, what do you reckon, Sarah? She just left everything in the car and hoped it was safe and went straight to the sideline. So she's been involved for only 2 or 3 weeks as Maya Vink. As that one is cleared away at the near post by Wellington. Lee can send this back in. Can she? Beats one. Now drives it in towards the near post. Not cleared yet by Wellington. Still not away. And a clumsy challenge there by Lee. But a referee, Anna-Marie Kiley, now goes back for the free kick. Just waiting to see if there was an advantage. It was clearly a late and clumsy challenge from Megan Lee. And Wellington will have the free kick inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad ball in there in that corner by Jess Innes, but not a hell of a lot of urgency. The Western Springs players to get on the end of it. Got to take advantage of these opportunities.
First indications that perhaps a slight breeze into the faces of Wellington there. That goal kick just being held up a little. Now they advance down the left wing side. Direct through the middle they go. Cleared away. And Savage can collect. What can they launch on the counter here now? Savage sets off and is ignored by Tafaru. It's a good decision too. Some space down the left wing side. Innes keeping the ball moving. Back here to Colby. And a heavy touch allows Wellington to now perhaps return the favour. What have they got on the counter? Opportunities for both teams there, but neither able to be accurate enough in their passing to maintain any sort of pressure. Savage all over the park in the opening 15 minutes. And unable to control was Gemma Robertson.
Looked to be some opportunities on the break for both sides. It was a good block in midfield there because Natalie Olsen was away down the left. for Wellington United.
Tiana Hill with the throw. Savage helps it on over Barrett. Gilchrist was there in cover, but Barrett was able to just hook that one out to safety, the 21-year-old. 57 games and 4 goals. Clearly playing at the heart of defence today. Goal scoring is not a key part of her playbook. Hill now down to the byline and too much on the cross. Goes over the bar untouched by a teammate. Time for a little hydration for Guillermo Shilton-Wolf, who arrived with Wellington United in 2011. First few games in charge, Sarah, were not that auspicious, with a couple of results here, 17-0 and 15-2 defeats. But they stuck with him. They stuck with him, and 5 years later, they won the Central League, thanks to a clear plan and a strategy. He's also coached the men's team for 3 years, and more recently has returned to the helm of the women's side. So I think it's great to see, not only with players, but coaches showing that loyalty. 12, 13 years with the same club, and you do build up some DNA, don't you?
You do. That's a great story. Yep. Looking to pocket perhaps a second Kate Sheppard Cup. 3 years. It would be an achievement.
Hill needed the intervention there of Barrett, and Hill's just come through and collected the shin, the left shin here, I think, of Zoe Barrett, and missed the shin pad. Look, I reckon just above the shin pad.
Always.
Or just above or below. Never right in the middle of the shin pad.
Zoe Barrett is a robust defender. Here we see that challenge. Yeah, just an unfortunate follow-through from Tiana Hill, collecting the shin of Zoe Barrett.
Just a stinger, but she looks to be okay, one that she'll run off.
Tiana Hill looking to surge forward. Nice little combination between her and Lara Colby down this right-hand side.
And just got under the cross a little, made it all too easy there for Molly Simmons in goal.
She never looks too under pressure, does she, Molly Simons?
No, very calm there. I mean, it was sort of sat there and waiting for a good old-fashioned centre forward to come through and collect the ball and the keeper, but she was the calmest of all and took it without any fuss at all. Lee will have to keep this in play. Goes back to Mitchell. Wellington United content to immediately sit back a little, not wanting to put any pressure on Mitchell there, the keeper in possession. So I think their first focus, and we maybe picked it up in the build-up, that Wellington United wanted to focus on getting safely through the first 15 or 20 minutes. And they are achieving that through 19 now. And yes, they've been under pressure, but I think they'll be pleased with the way they've started this final. Over the top now, a chance into the area, perhaps Wellington United trying to get the shot on goal, couldn't quite pull the trigger. And now look out, because Western Springs could catch you on the counter. Garcia. Wellington United now just getting their defensive lines back in order again. Flag goes up here, offside. Savage, who has been, gosh, she's covered some turf.
Yeah.
Right wing, left wing, through the middle of the park.
I think she might have just been giving free agency to roam as she pleases.
Just roamed a little too far in advance. You can see just snuck ahead of Gilchrist, who knew, the skipper, just put a hand up and knew the flag would be raised.
Yes, this Wellington United defence has proved to be very organised throughout this campaign, and they're showing that today. They're missing a few players, but they remain organised. They keep a deep line. They don't panic. They're going to be pretty hard to break down for Western Springs.
United looking for Robertson, not getting anywhere near their number 12 though.
I do think Western Springs front line may have the Wellington United backline for pace, and that's possibly why the Wellington backline is staying quite deep, not to expose the space behind them, get into a foot race.
Jervis picking the pocket there of Oliver Bell and advancing the skipper and centre back. She was caught late. I wonder if the referee might go back and award a free kick. No. Adjudicating that that challenge was fair and legal from Sammy Preval. It's one area of the game that they have to be competitive, Wellington. If indeed you do agree with the theory that they are the underdogs, and Tafaro almost getting in and embarrassing Barrett. Just taking a little too much time, and this is the difference. Maya Vink has her side, very keen to play this high press.
Pippi Oliver Bell under that. Hasn't been involved too much, but she is a game breaker for Wellington United.
Barrett across in front of Sam Tafaro, who has returned from injury herself in recent weeks and going through concussion protocols, and they've looked after Sam as that ball across the area. Garcia almost forcing an own goal, but forcing it too much. Free kick is given. So Garcia, it did look a little too aggressive, didn't it, Sarah? Just a push in the back, perhaps, of the Wellington United fullback.
Good urgency from Garcia, though. Here we see the replay. Lovely little dink. Liz Savage onside. The trailing fullback keeping her onside. And coming through, Sophia Garcia. A little too keen.
Just a push in the back, a physical presence almost into the back there of Lillian Davies.
The opportunity of the game, though.
Barrett, well played, passing out of defence. And this is nice from Wellington. Best move of the match so far. Space down this right wing side. Jervis trying to get across and gets there in time. She's covering some ground as the Western Springs skipper goes to ground, but too easily. No free kick. It was a nice interchange of passing started by Barrett. And within 2 or 3 passes, United were threatening.
Yeah, lovely ball out wide by Pippi Oliver Bell. She is a very stylish player, very pacey. Very creative.
Catherwood for Olsen. Catherwood again. That time can't keep the ball in play. Did get my fullbacks mixed up a little earlier on with Davies playing on the right side of defence, the 16-year-old, and Catherwood, but I can kind of get myself out of that situation and say they're both teenagers. Catherwood at 19, playing her 56th match for Wellington United. Barrett. See the idea. They're starting to just try and bypass midfield a little more often. Innes over the top. One here for Tafaro to get on the end of. Keeper is out, outside the area. Great tackle. Still the danger, though. Sam Tafaro, she beats one onto the left foot, trying to curl that in at the far post. Garcia tried to flick it on. There was no sign of a flag. And if there was no offside, that is a gilt-edged opportunity for Sophia Garcia.
Here we see the replay here. Great tackle from Molly Simons. Evades Sam Tafaro. There we see the through ball just breaches the head of Zoe Barrett. Good composure from Sam Tafaro. She puts that ball and finds Sophia Garcia, and she should have done better, Andrew.
Yeah, just needed a touch, redirect it, and had a bit of an air shot. Savage from a long way out, and see the idea, thinking that Simons was off her line, but over the crossbar. So Western Springs just starting to up the ante here as we just go past the halfway mark in the first half. 25 minutes in the Kate Sheppard Cup final. And the 2007 champions are looking a little more likely against the 2021 winners. Colby now. And Barrett will just shepherd this one out over the byline. Goal kick, Wellington United. But they need to just draw breath here a little. calm things down, slow the pace of things down.
Yeah, the pattern and cadence of this game is actually quite similar to Wellington United's semi-final against Eastern Suburbs. They really built into that game, survived a lot of opportunities.
They might have opened the door for Western Springs again. Garcia is beaten to the ball. They turn it over again, though, very quickly. Cross looking for Sam Tafadu. Gilchrist now can just go back to her keeper and slow things down. Catherwood has support from Olsen, ignores her, goes long. It's a good ball too. Oliver Bell turns, needs support. Here's Natalie Olsen, left wing side. Gets past the initial challenge of Hill, but Hill was doing so illegally, and Wellington United have the free kick left wing side.
Lovely little build-up here.
Little nutmeg.
I like the attitude to have a crack at her marker. I thought Tiana Hill had recovered quite nicely there, but erring on the wrong side of the law.
Too much on that pass, asking Natalie Olsen to chase the 21-year-old. Mentioned in the team lineups early on about the goals in amongst this Wellington United side. There wouldn't be too many teams, Sarah, with these sorts of numbers. Danny Olsen, 150 games, 123 goals. Natalie Olsen, 103 games, 73 goals. And Gemma Robertson, 164 games, 142 goals. That is some stat line, isn't it?
Yeah, that is some strike rate from those players.
They've turned it over defensively, though. Are they going to pay a price? Tafaru tried to pull it back, and a lucky deflection off Gilchrist. And that's not even including Pepe Oliver Bell out of midfield. She has 61 goals in 82 games.
Yeah, they can certainly find the net, can't they? So they can score, Wellington United. They certainly can score.
Davies. Lee read that quite comfortably. Haven't mentioned Lily Taitimu too much in midfield, but she, along with Innes, trying to control the game from there. That one hooked across by Garcia. Should stay in play here for Kolpe. Drags it out to the edge of the area. Wellington United were alert to it, though. Cut the angles down. And it's Western Springs' turn to gift possession back a little too easily.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy there from Western Springs. Need a bit more in the way of ball security to string these moves together. But here we see again, backing off, letting the back line have it.
They'll just sit now and they'll wait, ready to pound. It's this next pass, but they force Barrett to go back to her keeper. And if the keeper goes long, it's a mini victory, if you like, for the press. And they do force Wellington United into going long, and then Springs back themselves to win that headed duel. Savage, lovely control. Promising here from Springs. Last pass, though, just awry. Sammy Tafadu trying to make progress down that left wing side.
You just saw before that lovely touch by Liz Savage, and she also drew 3 defenders. So if she can get it and give it, there should be space elsewhere.
Lee goes direct, or Hill almost getting in each other's road there. Hill was advancing towards goal, but Savage going in the other direction, just got a flick on. And it's another goal kick as we approach the half-hour mark here. The Kate Sheppard Cup final, the first of our 2 cup finals being brought to you today. Chatham Cup being played at 4 o'clock, same venue this afternoon. So if you are watching our streaming coverage and you're in the Auckland region, it's a lovely day. Why not jump in the car, pop on out and enjoy some cup finals action. Christchurch United and Melville set to go in the men's final later this afternoon.
Yeah, great day out for the family. I think the tickets are $10. Great shout for your Sunday afternoon.
And I'd imagine there are a fair few, if not already here, but making their way up the expressway. It's a pretty fast trip these days from Hamilton to Auckland to support Melville, and perhaps, well, we're led to believe Aaron Scott's last game. I don't know how many last games he's had, but the veteran, what a stalwart of Melville. But for now, the focus very much on this showpiece occasion for the women's game. Oh, and again, they've turned it over. Savage winning it and winning it well. To Wharu as she got support. Savage stayed onside. Squares it across goal. It's hit the post and gone wide. Best opportunity. And it's no surprise, really, that Wellington United gifting these chances. They've done it 2 or 3 times, and this was so close.
Yeah, and here we see the reboot. Lovely little slip. I think it's from Sam Tafaru there. And first time strike from Liz Savage.
And clearly there's a hand here and a very good save from Molly Simmons, because the corner has been given. So certainly got a piece of the woodwork, but let's credit the keeper as well for a save that clearly stops the opening goal of the match. Swung across the corner, away by Barrett. Bodies going everywhere. Away again by Olsen. It'll likely come straight back in, though, from Ulavili. Turns it over. Chance on the counter now. Asking for handball, and they get it. So they survive a scary couple of moments, Wellington. And again, can just hit the reset button here.
Another good delivery over by Jess Innes. Dangerous ball across the 6-yard line. Well handled by the Wellington United defence, though.
Well, we said that Liz Savage would be central to Western Springs' chances, and so it is proving.
Looks like another corner opportunity here. No goal kick has been given.
Yeah, just off the outside of the right foot there from Colby.
Western Springs are getting a lot of joy with that one-touch, two-touch triangles through the line, that ball speed. I think they need to keep that up.
It's just the finishing touch or the final pass that's not quite been accurate enough so far. Nice turn, but very tight on the touchline, and eventually turning possession over was Gemma Robertson. Jervis, lots of chat, lots of instruction being given. Savage turns, might try one from the edge of the area. Does! Just wide. I'll tell you what, it had Molly Simons diving and a little concerned about where that was going to end up, but it does go just wide.
Great little delivery in from Megan Lee. It was advancing up the left-hand flank. And here we see Liz Savage holding off a defender, unleashing just wide of the upright.
They're getting closer, aren't they?
Feels very close to a Western Springs opener, that's for sure.
Colby got it at first, then had it snatched away again by Sammy Preval. And that will go out for a goal kick. Wellington United's 3-0 win over Kapiti Coast in round 1, then 4-0 over Motoroa, 3-0 over Seatoon. All, of course, Central League opposition. The quarterfinals, a 2-1 result, a close one against Petone. And then their, I'd say without question, the most impressive result and performance was against Eastern Suburbs, a 1-0 win in the semi-final. And they're starting to find their feet here. Look at them just feeling a little more at home in this cup final atmosphere, as they arguably have their best passing phase through midfield. Nothing on the end of it, though. And Western Springs stayed patient.
Yeah, it might be a little case of slow and steady wins the race, as it was in the semi-final against Eastern Suburbs.
Suburbs finishing second in the Northern League competition. So you might argue, based purely on the math, that if they can beat the second best team, Western Springs are third, well, they can beat the third best Northern team as well, Wellington. So why not bring a little confidence to the day? Ulavili across with the interception, but these are better moments for Wellington. This one for Olsen, she couldn't take it in her stride, and had she done so, may well have been in on goal. They just have these little momentary reminders to Western Springs that this is far from a one-sided contest.
Yeah, that's right. Wellington United could certainly pinch one, as they did in the semi-final against Eastern Suburbs. This is shaping up very similar to that match.
Over the top, asking, is it Robertson up there to chase? Cushioned in midfield, looking for a teammate, but eventually maintaining possession. And now Hill down the right wing side. Savage is onside. Flag stays down. There's no VAR, of course, today. Savage on the edge of the area. Left foot chance on Garcia, will be offside. And Savage, I think they're just a hand in apology, just overplaying things. Surely Sarah had to have a strike on goal.
Yeah, she'd done so well. She had carved herself out some space. She'd beaten her player there. And yeah, she could have just shaped her shoot right there, couldn't she? I think Garcia expected that as well. Possibly knew she was offside when she was played the ball in.
They'd love a goal before half-time, Western Springs. Wellington United, of course, on the flip side of that coin, desperate to at least be level going into the break.
Bit of frustration creeping.
Well, here we go, chance now. Tafodu one-on-one, has to score and does score. And Western Springs do have the opening goal of the Kate Sheppard Cup final. It's been coming for the last 10 minutes or so. And Wellington United just left the door open one time too many. And this time Western Springs come crashing through.
Lovely threaded ball, and Sam Tafaru, all the composure in the world, sights that upright and flashes the ball past the keeper into the side netting. Very, very good quality finish from Sam Tafaru.
And a chance just to rehydrate on the way back in amongst the celebrations. And it is the Western Springs number 11 who has returned in recent weeks to the starting lineup. And Maya Vink just reorganises, just some reminders there that the time when you need to maintain concentration most is typically immediately after having scored.
And a great time to score, closing on that 40-minute mark just before half-time. And you've got to say, Western Springs are good value for that 1-0 advantage.
So that's a moment has no doubt just changed the messages that are going to be delivered by the coaches at half-time. Just getting second football off the pitch, and that's being done. Hill with the throw. Tafodi, the goal scorer, straight back into the action. Nice interchange here with Kolpe. Just rolls the studs over the football, looking for space, looking for support. And again, Western Springs just guilty of going back down a blind alley. They turned their way out of there nicely, needed to check out and perhaps change the focal point of the attack.
Yeah, they did well to sort of do a U-turn there, but Sam Tafaru elected to go straight back into Lara Kolpe. I don't think she expected that. She wanted her to turn out.
Hill, oh, lovely. Just a little drop of the hips, beats three players. A little step over. Party tricks coming out now. Kolpe on the left foot, the weakest side, not able to get any purchase on the cross. Barrett under pressure. Savage throwing herself into challenges. turned over. Here they come, Hill, the fullback. She'll try one. Almost into the path of Garcia. And Sophia Garcia can score goals. She had 2 in the quarterfinal win over Fencibles, and as a winger, she does look to get on the end of crosses. This, though, clearly was intended as a shot from Hill.
Yeah, Hill, lots of confidence making that shot, and Garcia always floating around that far post. Could have made a bit more of that one, just hanging a leg out. But Tiana Hill getting involved in attack, playing it right back, but happy to surge forward, playing an important attacking role as well.
See what the response of Wellington is. Their response is to be a little over-eager offside. It would just relieve the pressure. Not that they've had to face too much of that, Western Springs. So getting forwards, Oliver Bell on that occasion, too far forward.
Yep, very well played by Lily Jervis, the captain. Demonstrated a lot of discipline. She knew she was offside. She knew where her colleagues were, and just waited for that ball to be played in.
Taforu away, covered by Barrett, who's recovered well. A couple of nervous moments as the centre-back. Here's Oliver Bell, heavy touch. Every time it looks like it's building, they just turn possession over, Wellington. And really, you can't think of too many times when they have actually got into that attacking third. Dangerous turnover again. Savage rolls a pass here. And the shot from distance is not on target. So worth a crack from Jess Innes, certainly capable, but just not keeping that one down.
Yeah, she didn't get the dip she might have liked. It was always rising, wasn't it? But there's that left foot of Jess Innes. She can score from there. Lovely wee layoff. Bit more confidence in attack from Western Springs after that goal.
Yeah, and this is happening more often now with Wellington turning possession over against that press. Savage tries to ride the challenge. Still they can't get it clear, Wellington. Now they do. Olsen. Can they string a few passes together? Allow their teammates time to get forward in support. Brooke with a pass back to Barrett, and again Springs just drop off, waiting for a pass into midfield is the one they're looking to intercept.
Yep, they get organised very quickly, the Springs team. Lovely shape on defence.
Late challenge from Colby on Catherwood, and Wellington United with the free kick. Another look at the strike. Took it very calmly, didn't she? I mean, she was always favourite, but you've still got to finish it.
Yeah, she did very, very well. Little glance up, sighted her mark, and away she went. Hit the side netting, beautiful finish.
Just passed it into the far corner of the goal. Did not need to put the laces through it. As a rare touch for Mickey Mitchell in goal. The Americans had something of an armchair ride so far. Well over halfway, and Wellington just dropping off, not challenging Savage, and that's taken a touch, so will have to be intercepted here by Molly Simons, and it is comfortably. This is where Wellington need movement. They need to create a better look, passing lanes. It's all very well here for the centre-backs because Western Springs are just sitting off. Then they get a little sniff. Now they'll pressure the fullback. Look at the move from Colby, and then it's turned over. It's becoming something of a pattern, isn't it, Sarah?
It is. It is a bit static up front.
Hill with space again, almost playing as a winger, is Tiana Hill. And battling back, and a really good second challenge from Catherwood. Little turn from Robertson. Needs support, wanted support from the referee. So no whistle. The goal scorer now back in midfield. Innes, acres of space to move into. Pass was well intercepted by the skipper for Wellington.
We just saw him back play Tiana Hill with her hands on her knees. She's done a lot of work. Right up the wing and a big recovery run back. She'll be looking to have a rest at half-time.
And we're into time added on at the end of the first half, so that half-time whistle and drink and a chance to grab the relative respite of the dressing room is not far away. Barrett's done well and then turns it over, but thankfully a deflection straight to her skipper, Gilchrist.
She's a very good reader of the game, is Zoe Barrett. Anticipates these balls well. Gets in front of her player. And there's half-time.
So the half-time whistle is blown. Perfect conditions here at North Harbour Stadium, and it's the perfect 45 minutes so far for Western Springs. Just the one goal in the match, and it was scored by Sammy Tafaru. Half-time in the Kate Sheppard Cup final. It's Western Springs 1, Wellington United 0.
The Fern is a symbolic representation for all New Zealanders and has been reimagined to represent all of football in Aotearoa, New Zealand. A circular shape not only symbolises the round ball used by all those that play the game, but also, and more importantly, represents the strength and infinite connection created by all those that play a part of the game. With each piece of the Fern recognising and acknowledging those that make the beautiful game beautiful. The stalk represents our grassroots, our communities, our clubs, our volunteers and our fans. They are the foundation and are at the centre of all we do. The pinner represents our federations across the whole of New Zealand. Our federations guide and protect our clubs and communities, allowing everyone to be heard, to be represented and provide guidance and opportunities at every pathway. One brand identity with regional differentiation. Federations in New Zealand football working together to serve our communities, creating more than a game, creating a sporting whānau where everyone is welcome.
In the traditional green and white hoops, Western Springs much the happier of the two sides with that late goal. As already we start to see some of the fans for both matches. The Chatham Cup final coming up a little later this afternoon. Melville up against Christchurch United. For the moment, though, the rejigging, the change in tactics, if not formation, has to come from Wellington United. They've got to try and change the way this match is playing out. Western Springs will be happy with more of the same. They dominated possession, played the match at the right end of the park, and they will have the advantage of a breeze. Not too much, but what breeze there is will be at their backs now. Western Springs looking to add a second Kate Sheppard Cup to their resume, having won in 2007, having tasted defeat in 2006. They learned their lessons pretty quickly back then. Wellington United also know what it is to have their hands on this trophy, having won it in 2021. Final huddle, final words of encouragement. We'll keep you posted with any changes, and does not look like we have had any at the half-time break. You would imagine that Wellington United might be the first to make a change, as Guillermo Shilton-Wolf will surely look to his bench at some stage for fresh legs and maybe fresh ideas. Wellington United playing from left to right as we watch here in the second half. Andrew Dewhurst with you in commentary for both of these cup finals this afternoon, alongside his former football Fern, Sarah Gibbs. What a year for women's football. They're still on a buzz, still on a high, and that's just me. I can't imagine what it's like for those who have been a part of the Football Ferns fraternity over the years. Indeed, anyone with any involvement in women's football. How good the World Cup
Oh, it's so good. I was lucky enough to attend the final in Sydney, and looking around at that stadium, I just could not believe that 75,000 people were, watching this women's football match.
Te Whare with a nice move. Will interrupt you for a moment, Sarah, but doesn't have the pace to get away. Looks for a teammate. Hill's still full of running, and so too Barrett, who makes another great challenge. She's been strong at the back for Wellington, but they force a corner. Sorry, Sarah, just to finish that off, because we cannot not talk about the Women's World Cup this afternoon at the Premier Women's Cup competition domestically for New Zealand. What a month. It was just good fun.
Yeah, and providing plenty of inspiration and motivation, no doubt, for these players on the field right now. Maya mentioned in her pre-match interview that she was missing a few players on the way through who attended the World Cup final, and why not, hey?
Springs looking to add a second as early as they possibly can. Flag stays down, must have been close to offside eventually. The ball is played in, it's a flick on, an inadvertent one and a good save. Referee blows the whistle. Oh, I didn't see a flag go up.
Might have been some contact in the box is the only explanation.
It was a good save from Molly Simons, but in the end it won't go down as in addition to the stats today, because the free kick was awarded just prior. But danger signs early for Wellington, and they simply cannot be the next team to concede, can they? At 1-0 down, they're a chance on the counter and stay in the match. But if they go 2-0 down against the Springs outfit, who look the better of the two teams, then they're in trouble.
Well, particularly in the context of Wellington United actually not creating a hell of a lot of chances in the first half. So to be in the position of trying to claw two back might be a bit out of reach.
Savage has the ball taken away from her by Danny Olsen.
Surprising that Jess Innes didn't just fire that corner over. She's been putting some good balls across in the first half.
Garcia wins it. The winger in a defensive role. Savage, lovely little shimmy and a drop of the hips. Savage is away down the left wing side. Te Whare advancing through the middle of the park. Kolpe further out wide. Deflection. Straight into the hands, though, of Molly Simons. And as Wellington United have to press, as they have to go in search of an equaliser, the longer this game goes, the more those counter-attacking opportunities will appear, you would think, for Western Springs.
Absolutely, and we saw there, number 9, Danny Olsen, having to track back. You know, the more defensive work you have to do, the less gas you've got for attack.
Talking of gas, Hill, how good has she been? Still, the motor is purring away on all cylinders. Tiana Hill, she has covered some ground down that right wing side, the fullback.
Yeah, lovely combination play between her and Lara Kolpe, and there we see it again.
Cross played in behind Garcia. Tries to just play a little early ball to Savage, who wasn't on the same wavelength. Now Olsen away down the left wing side. Natalie Olsen showing some good speed. Does she have support in the area? Ball played in, but not beyond. Good defensive work from Jodeci Ulaveli. Just positioned herself nicely at the near post. Oh, little trickery. No free kick given, though. The trickery comes to Nout. Wellington United, rare attacking moments. And they will have a throw to try and maintain some pressure.
I think that's Gemma Cathwood up front there, the left back advancing. So that may be the message at half-time, that they need to get forward.
Innes can't get it clear. Jervis does, but might only be brief moments here, but you can suggest that Western Springs are under pressure. You haven't been able to say that too often in this match.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many entries there would have been into the Western Springs penalty area by Wellington United.
Davies putting some pressure on, so we see both fullbacks getting forward here for Wellington.
Well, it is a winner-take-all match, isn't it? Wellington United are chasing the game. They must score.
Garcia hooks it clear. Another throw. To be taken again by Lillian Davies. Gilchrist sends it in. And should be no problem, but it is spilled by the keeper. Danger here. Western Springs are suddenly at 6s and 7s. Mitchell couldn't gather. The only good news for Springs is that Wellington United were headed away from goal, but they have a corner. These are the best moments in the match for the team from Wellington.
And then we see the fumble from Mickey Mitchell and pounced on by Gemma Robertson. Really good hustle by her, really good urgency. And by virtue of that passage of play, Wellington United have won themselves a corner. Big opportunity.
And a header on goal this time. It is a very good save from Mitchell, getting down very quickly to her right as Guillermo Shilton-Wolf looks with a little more hope as his side have thrown a couple of punches at last.
It was a good header by Pepe Oliver Bell. Directed it downwards. Tough to handle for the keeper. She did well. Got down quickly to her right.
Savage so good at holding the ball up and just wriggling away from defenders. She does turn it over though, and has copped a knee to the shin for her troubles, but will get up happy in the knowledge that Gilchrist conceded the throw.
Well, game on. Wellington United have come out of the sheds with some fury.
Yeah, they've awoken from their first half slumber. And look at Davies again. And you picked it, Sarah, earlier when you saw Catherwood down the left wing side. We're seeing both fullbacks given license to get forward, and I think clearly the halftime chat has included that. Let's put some pressure on them. Got nothing to lose and it's all here to gain. Let's see if we can get down either flank.
Yeah, and if there's risk of an overlap, you know, that makes the Western Springs fullbacks think twice about themselves getting forward as well.
Here they come again, Wellington. A chance now. Olsen, edge of the area. Is it going to roll onto the left foot, straight at the keeper? But they are starting to press Wellington. These are good moments, their best moments in the match.
Getting a bit more linkage in the final third. Finishing moves, getting shots away. It's good work from Wellington United. Game on here.
Barrett has a tumble of players and over the top they go again. Opportunity to put some pressure on this time. It's Olsen, the other Olsen to one, and over the top of the keeper, no, dropped, and surely an equaliser, they've scored. Anne-Marie Kiley looks to her assistant and does not see or hear any intervention. And is it Robertson that's bundled this over the line? It was a comedy of errors, and Mitchell could not save here, dropped the ball, and they do equalise.
And it was Jim Robertson. One of the easiest goals she'll ever score. Just lands for her. All she had to do was get something on it. There was a bit of dispute about whether the follow through from, I think it was Natalie Olsen, took out the keeper. And there is a bit of discussion on field about this particular point.
So referee just to the right of picture, and we'll get a shot of them here now, just talking to her assistant. And there is no video review, but the goal is given. So the question mark there was there a foul on Mickey Mitchell as she tried to gather in the initial attempt on goal? There's relief for Wellington United. Jervis wants to continue the conversation, but the decision's been made. This is a protest without cause, really. They are going to have to accept that this match is back on level terms. And this turnaround really is quite the shock, Sarah. I mean, we did not see this coming from Wellington through most of that first half. They've just suddenly dialed up the energy. They're putting pressure on. They look more lively, more likely.
That's right, and they're linking together. I don't know what Guillermo said in the locker room there, but he's getting a lot more out of his players in these opening moments of the second half. the best 10 minutes of the game for Wellington United.
And Western Springs, it's now their turn to just regather their thoughts, their composure, and have a think perhaps how they need to make some adjustments to reassert some dominance. Tiana Hill, now there's frustration as well at the referee, as we're going to see a change for Western Springs. And it looks like Celia Mayo is going to replace Megan Lee. Mayo, who did score in that 5-1 semi-final win. So looks to be like for like. The number 8 heading on to fullback as we see another replay of the goal. Lee's day is done. But what does she have to watch over the next 40 minutes or maybe longer from the bench now, as Celia Mayo gets out there for Western Springs. Ulavili, lovely intervention and good composure, just keeping possession. Taitimu back to Jervis.
Whether or not Western Springs have a point about their dispute over the goal, it counts for nothing. They've just got to shake it off.
Mayo's first touch has space in which to move. Tried to deliver the ball into the area, but couldn't get beyond Gilchrist.
A lot more hunger from the Wellington side. Players wanting to get on the ball, a lot more movement. We spoke about the static nature of the team. It's less static now.
Davies with a ball down the right wing side, easily cut out there by Ulavili. And gets it straight back from Mitchell and can approach halfway. Mayo, a nice couple of settling touches for the sub. Some space here for Kolpe coming infield to Fodu. Now they advance. Ball played through the middle. A chance for Garcia. Gosh, deciding not to pick that one up was Simmons when she possibly had time just to gather that one in the gloves. Driven across, and this time she does smother it just. Well, the game is really opening up now. It is end-to-end. Western Springs coming back into the attacking third with real intent.
Great little tussle between Tiana Hill and Natalie Olsen on that right-hand side for Western Springs. Beautiful cross from Tiana Hill. She really has been the best of the Western Springs.
Barrett intervenes, turns it over though. Savage. Kolpe to her right, so Barrett comes back. She's been impressive at the heart of that Wellington defence. And remember, they are missing two of their senior players at the heart of that defence, in Francesca Grange and Sarah Alder, both on futsal duties in a New Zealand training camp this weekend. Not ideal timing. Having to make a choice, and I guess national team colours taken precedence on this occasion. Barrett again. Tafadu trying to turn but couldn't wriggle away from the Wellington number 4.
We see Gemma Robertson coming back, hunting for the ball. She wants it. It's a real turnaround from this Wellington United side. It's a different team, isn't it, Andrew?
It's remarkable, and it's the beauty of football. It's what is the norm in the first half, certainly not the case often in the second half of matches. Kolpe just a last touch with a goal kick now for Wellington United. There's a bit of a cliche in football that some teams don't want the halftime break. They just want to carry on. Let's not stop the momentum, the rhythm, whilst other teams are crying out for it and the chance just to reset and hear some words of advice in the dressing room. And this match certainly is one that fits that bill. Western Springs wondering what's led to this remarkable turnaround, but they're right in proceedings here. It's not like they've fallen behind. They've just got to stay composed and reassert that dominance if they can. Scramble in midfield. Garcia just gets out of there, courtesy of Ulavili, and now Jervis. Hill has set off on a run, and Jervis can't find her. Just took too long, maybe one more touch than was required, and ran into a Wellington United midfielder.
Yeah, she lost the angle to just roll the ball out to Tiana Hill. They definitely gravitate towards that right-hand flank, don't they?
Olsen under pressure and just turns it over, but trying to break the press with a little more intent, Wellington.
The game is sort of compressed up a bit, hasn't it? There's not so much space out there anymore. It's a bit more hand-to-hand combat.
And Savage has been more than willing to engage in that combat. She's been physical, she's been creative. As Tiana Hill has the throw. Of course, a long way to go in the match, but start to think who might be contending, as that one is across for Garcia. Just got under the cross and couldn't get any purchase on the header. Of course, the player of the match will receive the Maya Jackman Trophy for the best player on the park today, and that should be comfortable for Simmons, and it is.
Lovely wee slip ball. Jess Innes to Celia Mayo. She's done well since coming on.
Certainly offering good width down this left wing side as the replacement fullback. Colby with width down the right. Marked up pretty tightly though, pretty quickly by Catherwood as Hill. Options not quite as plentiful, it seems, for Western Springs as they were in the first half. Wellington United have reorganised and just shutting down some of those passing lanes. Tafodu trying to lay that one off, the goal scorer, but can't do so. And here they come, Wellington. Pinched away though. Innes rolls a pass. Tafodu for Savage. Trying to make room with a left foot shot and just going wide, but the keeper wasn't to know and got a hand on it and almost caused more problems than she solved. That was an awkward one, wasn't it? Might get another look at that now, but Sarah Savage just almost passing it towards the far post and putting the keeper in two minds.
Yes, I think it was intended as a pass, but it almost turned into a shot in the end. And that could have ended very badly for Wellington United.
So from the goal kick, they want to continue playing out. Back to the keeper, Savage pressing. Wellington United forced into going long. Innes for Savage.
Innes featuring a lot more prominently in this opening stage of the second half. And here we see Wellington United making a substitute. Looks like Gemma Robertson is coming off and making way for number 13, Liv Dean.
Yeah, Robertson was in a little bit of doubt coming into this, and the word from Wellington United is that she may in fact have started on the bench, but she's managed to get through 65 minutes, and Liv Dean is out there for the concluding stages. How long that will be, we don't yet know. Of course, we have to have a winner, so extra time beckons if neither side can break this deadlock.
I think there are a number of goals to come, though, in this second half.
Oh, just taken off the hands of Molly Simons there. It's just preferring safety first on that occasion. And again, bit of catching practice. So Liv Dean, again, is like so many in the squad, a relative youngster. She's just 17 years of age, but is playing her 64th game, Sarah. So these players are getting great experience at a very young age, aren't they?
Yes, it is a youthful team, but it is a very experienced team. They've been together a while, have a number of caps between them. And as you said earlier, 9 of these players played in the 2021 Kate Sheppard Cup final as Liz Savage advances.
Tufaru, and guess who? And a little lucky with the second attempted clearance, but Zoe Barrett is proving very difficult to defeat at the heart of that Wellington defence alongside Hope Gilchrist. Here is Barrett on the ball now. Amazing what a goal will do. They're playing with a good deal more confidence and assuredness, Wellington United. Well and truly towards the business end now of this final. Ulavili, good interception. Garcia hasn't had too many opportunities going forward, the American. Tried in the first half to get on the end of a couple of crosses, but it's not necessarily been going her way. A lot of the Western Springs players, Sarah mentioned earlier, is down that right wing side. And just perhaps a little lull in proceedings. We've had some frantic moments, and the goal for Wellington included amongst them, but perhaps both teams just looking to settle here and get that second wind and finish strongly. Turned over by Wellington. Colby on the overlap. Colby down to the byline. Has one in the penalty area. Savage got a foot on that somehow. Goodness me, like a rubber band player, just getting that right foot somehow on the end of the cross, but couldn't get the power.
That is where Western Springs are finding joy. Those sort of quick one-touch passes in succession. Lovely little layoff from Sam to Faru to Colby, I think it was. A lovely cross from Colby. Liz Savage just not getting in front of her marker to get enough meat on the ball.
Innes did enough to intercept with help from Taitimu. Jervis, oof, late challenge, and that was worthy of a free kick, and I'm surprised not worthy of a word as well. The substitute Dean just cannoning into the back of Jervis, who might feel that after this final concludes. Gilchrist. Anywhere will do, but may well fall into the path here of Olsen, and it does. Showing good pace. Support now. Needed to look far post, perhaps. Won it back, though. Olsen for Wellington United. Now does pull it back. A chance for a strike on goal. Took too long. And Western Springs, a sigh of relief as it swung back in, headed away by Jervis. Shooting chance, edge of the area. Brooks couldn't keep it down.
Good little series of play from Wellington United. Great hustle down the left-hand flank from Natalie Olsen. Here we see the tail end of that movement, and the shot. Couldn't keep it down. It was always rising. And nervous moments.
And Natalie Brooke here, as we see, had an awful lot of time there and just didn't follow through and get that knee over the ball. Garcia pinches it. Mayo gives it straight back to the American. Heads down towards the byline. Gilchrist had to time that superbly well. It was in the area and she got it all right. Garcia, little dummy. Left foot cross, pulls it back. Barrett there. She's been everywhere in defence, has Zoe Barrett.
Conceded a corner on this occasion, though, through clearance. Can Western Springs make it count?
And as we start to think of fatigue, it's not just the team that's doing the bulk of the defending, because this high press from Western Springs can take it out of you as well. when you are looking to be aggressive without the ball, and we may see that have an impact over the closing 20 minutes or so.
There are some hands on hips out there, that's for sure.
Kolpe right on top of the keeper. Good punch away, though. Mayo couldn't get there in time, but they will have a throw. So the ball switching right across the park. Hill.
Handy delivery over there from Kolpe, I think it was, but confidently punched out by Molly Simons.
Kolpe into the area on the left foot. Rolls it back here for Savage. Didn't have much time and just scooped that over in the face of some defensive pressure. Anyone's final here, the Kate Sheppard Cup. You wouldn't have thought that perhaps with the performance of these two teams in the first half. Western Springs look far more likely, but the second half, it has been a different story, a much more even battle. Savage has won it. They've got players forward here. Savage shoots over the keeper and just over the bar. Well, I wondered on that occasion if she did have players in support to find. Tiana Hill was one of them, but Savage with a sight on goal, just over the crossbar.
Yeah, and here we see that Tiana Hill, the provider, and she continues to run through. There were a number of options for Liz Savage on that particular occasion. She opted for the shot.
Well, listen to us, though. Well, listen to me, especially Sarah. When she passes, I say she should shoot. When she shoots, I say she should pass. She's the one out there. And had that snuck under the crossbar, she would have been the hero of that moment. Savage again. Garcia, Savage on the left foot. And again, it's just over the bar. Goodness me, this is instant replay stuff, albeit this time with the left foot from the number 28.
Almost a precise replica of the right-footed shot, just scooping under it a little too much, hitting the top netting.
Western Springs maybe are starting to get that second win that we've spoken about. That'll be offside against Dean. One of the easier decisions for the officials today. Just perhaps Dean running for the first pass that wasn't actually played in her direction.
Yeah, well managed by the defence. Lily Jervis knew where she was, knew where her colleagues were, and the offside trap delivered.
Ulavili has had a lot more touches coming out of the heart of that Western Springs defence in the second half. Hill, always a willing runner, just kept it in play.
Won herself a throw-in.
In the penalty area, the fullback towards the byline, shoots off the post. So close, Tiana Hill. Spectacular strike on goal. And I reckon Molly Simons might have been beaten all ends up there, but for the intervention of the near post. Well, she has been lively and has been as big a contributor on attack as any player in this match, has the fullback Tiana Hill. Taitimu sends it forward. Olsen now can bring it away. They've got a little space in which to operate. Brooke. Wasn't the right ball, really. There were three Springs defenders against the one attacking player in Natalie Olsen. The game starting to stretch now, opening up a little. Kolpe, it's an important challenge. And Western Springs have the throw. What an opportunity, though, here for Tiana Hill.
Yes, here she sees, she evades two or three players, beaten all ends up. Molly Simons, but for that upright. She deserves a goal, doesn't she, Tiana Hill? Her work rate has been impressive. We've got another substitute coming on here, number 12 for Western Springs.
Well,
Jerez.
Just looking to see who's left the park. I think it's the goal scorer who's just snuck off, Sami Tafaru, who has had some challenges with concussion the latter part of the season. So Ella Jerez who has a big weekend. They're asking for a penalty, asking for handball, and there are shakes all around from the referee. No movement from the assistant. So nervous moments there for Wellington. As we see on the replay here, certainly hit the left arm there of Zoe Barrett, and Wellington United might have got away with one there. The arm just extended from the body.
There certainly was a big shout, wasn't there?
Corner delivered, looking for Jervis. Out on the edge, Hill again. This time didn't find room for the shot. It might fall though, still here. The substitute, what a moment that might have been for the teenager. Ella Jerez couldn't get the ball out from under her feet to get a shot on goal. And now it's out of play.
And Zoe Barrett again on clean-up duty. What an influence she's had on this game.
Savage, one of the contenders surely for the Maya Jackman Trophy, flicked away from the advancing keeper. Barrett, who's in that conversation as well. And where it finally ends up may well depend on where the Kate Sheppard Cup ends up. It's not totally out of the question for a player on a losing team to win it, but more often than not, it does go to someone from the winning side. What a moment, though, for Ella Jerez here. Sarah, we've talked about the relative youth out there on the park already, but at 15 years of age and I believe about to be involved with the New Zealand under-16s, so she may well be. In fact, I'm sure she is one of those players you spoke about being inspired by what they've seen firsthand with the FIFA Women's World Cup over the last few weeks.
No doubt. Certainly a different world and context for women's football than I grew up in. And so much for the better. There she goes, running with confidence.
Plays the little 1-2, gets it back and then gets collected. Innes, they've played on here, an advantage for Western Springs. They might have fancied the free kick though. Mayo, another one of the subs, has the ball taken away from her though. And now Oliver Bell tries to find a pass for Dean, who has given away another free kick. So Liv Dean has just left a foot in on that occasion, not long after she illegally challenged Lily Jervis. Innes it is, just feeling the pain of that one.
Looks like a double substitution coming up for Wellington United.
So Natalie Brooke leaves and is replaced by number 5, Phoebe Gray. And also out there now is Olive Lynch-Gerard. So Guillermo Shilton-Wolf is not so much blinking, but he's first of the two coaches to make significant changes, if you like, as he looks to try and chase a winner in the final 11 minutes of regulation time. Not sure if you caught up with who departed the second of the two Wellington subs there, did you, Sarah? I did see Natalie Brooke go, but we'll keep an eye on that and see who that was just in the midst of those changes being made, as Garcia is well defended in that right fullback position for Wellington. Ulavili for Mayo. Space in which to operate. Surely space in which to deliver across. Does so towards the penalty spot. Chance for Kolpe, straight at the keeper. And there's been a bit of a switch in formation. Leah Kolpe has come more central with the changes made by Maya Vink. It looks as though Ella Jerez is playing wide on the right and Kolpe more through the middle of the park.
Didn't that fall nicely for Lara Kolpe?
United now. Keeping it in play is Oliver Bell, so She is still out there and operating down the left wing side now for Wellington United. And pause in proceedings here, and it's a rare pause. This game has been played pretty much non-stop without interruption. There's been a good pace and tempo about proceedings. But there's a concern here. Is it Tiana Hill? So some concern here for one of the better performers in this match. Right calf, do you think, Sarah, that they're concerned about here?
Yeah, it appears to be. I didn't see any contact or collision that she was involved in. She has been a workhorse today, is Tiana Hill. Ankle, perhaps.
And Anna-Marie Kiley, they're just saying that any further attention needs to be off the park. There's a thumbs up from the physio, though. So Western Springs have been coming back into proceedings, haven't they? And Tiana Hill's been right at the heart of it. That was a heck of a right foot drive. I'm amazed that goal's not shaking in its boots. Just cannoning off the upright. And then this opportunity for Kolpe, just picking up the pieces on the edge of the area, and she'll want to do better if she's given that sort of a chance again. Had plenty of time, but could not hit her targets. Went straight at the keeper. Garcia is offside.
Ella Gerard's looking very dangerous with the ball at feet. She is a very stylish player. I really like the look of her.
Yeah, no surprise. She's on the radar of national age group coaches.
Got that youthful confidence about her to run at players. Doesn't know what to be scared of yet.
Yeah, you sounded a little envious, Sarah, as you said that. You sounded a little, I don't know, there was a hint of melancholy there. You know. Yes, we all look back and remember those days. It's young Ella Jerez has most of those days ahead of her. Olsen can't control. Innes comes away with it. Kolpe, as I mentioned earlier, operating a little more centrally now. Garcia, that's a little aimless, but the miss kick is going to pay off for Savage. And coming across at the expense of a corner. So Western Springs can send players forward. Gemma Catherwood had to be there, had to intervene, the 19-year-old, but would rather perhaps have given away a throw than a corner. They've taken it quickly. Innes surely delivers with the left foot, brings Kolpe back into the game. She goes far post, handy ball played in. Wellington trying to scramble it away. Still there in the penalty area. A little bit of aerial tennis being played. Innes, first touch was heavy. Second touch goes the way of Wellington United. One for Dean to chase. But look at the pace of Mayo, as well as the fresh legs, the two substitutes going head to head there.
Very well backed by Mayo. Nervous moments in the box there.
Well, nervous in the sense that with 5 minutes of normal time to play, a mistake at this stage of proceedings could prove crucial and very difficult to come back from.
Tiana Hill back on the pitch, taking the throw in.
He looks to have recovered. Here's Jerez again making a nuisance of herself. Timu for Innes. It's a couple of uncharacteristic loose touches from Innes, and the ball played in the opposite direction to the run of Dean, so no harm done. Played into space. Mayo can get on the end of this ball, but forced out very wide. Innes advancing down to the byline. Innes pulls it back. Is it another corner? Just kept in play. But no, now it is out over the goal line. So Western Springs finishing perhaps the stronger of the two teams.
They've got to make a better fist of this corner. The opportunities are going to be few and far between. We've only got 5 minutes to play, 4 minutes to play. Regulation time.
And it does look as though Colby will send this one in directly on this occasion. It's a handy one towards the far post, but she's been calm, been composed today in her work as Molly Simons, and sets Wellington United on their way pretty quickly. Stepping forward though, Ulavili, composed play from the centre back. She's come into the match in the second half as Western Springs have had more defending to do.
Square ball.
Taitimu kind of got her wires all crossed there, almost had too much time. Or does either side have the energy? Is there a superstar to write a headline or two in the closing stages on the park? Oliver Bell trying to be that player, taken away from her. Garcia evades the challenge, but won't evade the second challenge from Barrett, who does superbly well to keep it in play and launch a counter now. Oliver Bell looking for support, but tired legs and tired minds now. Over the top they go, one for Savage, maybe Garcia to chase. Great cover though. That run had to be made, I think, from the substitute Gerard. Taitimu, game's opened up, hasn't it now? Acres of space in midfield. Tiana Hill turns it over. Lynch Gerard tries to find Dean. Dean with a header almost for herself to chase. And Oliver Bell was just back on her heels a little bit there. And the threat was gone.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot more urgency here. We see
Jerez. Jerez into the area. The teenager off the bench. Jerez, the 15-year-old, may well have won the Kate Sheppard Cup for Western Springs. She looked lively. She showed great pace and got on the end of the through ball and showed great composure for a young player, a starlet, surely a star of the future. But a star may well be born today in the Kate Sheppard Cup final. Ella Jerez puts Western Springs ahead 2-1.
And here we see surging run from Ella Jerez. She keeps her composure, hits the near post and finishes with lovely style. Lots of pace, full of running. Left foot finish, I think it was. What a beautiful, well-taken goal.
Well, they do say you cannot coach pace. You've either got it or you ain't. I'll tell you what, Ella Jerez has pace. Over the first 10 metres, she was going at 2-1. And that was the difference. They were allowing her to get around the back of the Wellington United defence, and she had all the time in the world, but still had to finish. And just calmly passed it into the back of the net again. Great lesson there for all players. You do not need to belt the cover off the football. Just hit your target. What now have Wellington United got in reserve? We approach the end of the 90 minutes and we'll soon know how many added minutes there will be. They have battled bravely. 4 minutes of added time to play. They have come back into a match that they looked well and truly out of at half-time, despite just the 1-0 scoreline. But they reinvented themselves and came out with renewed purpose and vigour and really put pressure on Western Springs, equalised, but have now fallen to the sucker punch and have to throw everything forward in these final few minutes.
Yeah, great timing for Western Springs, but heartbreaking timing.
Ullavilli with a wayward pass. Again, Dean, it's a flick on that she needed just to cushion if she was any chance of regathering. And Mickey Mitchell almost conceding the corner. And now clears long down the left wing side. Their focus, though, has to be on defence. Garcia, though, says, I'll still keep attacking. 3 defenders to beat. Jerez at the far post. Colby tries one from a long way out, goes wide. Match management now is vital for Western Springs. You do wonder, it's negative, yes, but is Garcia better to head to the corner flag there? Every second that ticks by is a second in their favour. Western Springs, oh, Savage is through. Savage can't get there. Just scrambling off her line was Molly Simons, and she goes long quickly, no surprise. Oliver Bell flicks it, looking for Dean. Tiana Hill, one of the stars, a contender for the Maya Jackman Award, is across defending. And defending a little too aggressively. It's a cheap free kick to give away.
Dangerous area too.
And we see a late change here from Maya Vink, and this is for all sorts of reasons, and I can tell you none of them are due to performance, because Liz Savage has been superb, but she's maybe run out of gas. The substitution also just eats a little more time off the clock. Savage goes and is replaced by Kitty Jacob. Great performance from the Springs number 28. Jacob just has to defend for a couple of minutes here. Swung in, bounces in the penalty area, and they scramble it away, but it's a throw for Wellington. Still time. And if they do get a set piece, it's almost time for Molly Simons to come forward, the goalkeeper. Oh, it's a short touch. Davies was sold a little down the river there. Catherwood almost doing the same. Jerez, can she go on her own? Great pass, Garcia. Keeper Simons had to come out and plays like the sweeper to just mop up. Still the danger not clear though. Garcia, the substitute. Jacob, the keeper backpedaling. Jacob couldn't get a head up, couldn't find the room. Garcia crosses towards the far post. Jerez almost there for a second. Simons at full stretch. Jerez turns. This is mad scrambling football from both teams. Wellington United survive.
Bit of a sting in the tail in this match.
Olsen to chase. Mayo says anywhere will do. Final seconds. Is there one twist in the tail? Olsen, they've got to get this in. Olsen now. Players queuing up at the far post. Put her head down though and ran into Mayo. And now needed to go over the top. Mayo to Barrett. Sends it straight back. They can't control it though. They can't string the passes together, Wellington. Western Springs, are they about to add a second Kate Sheppard Cup to the trophy cabinet? Yes, indeed they are. Western Springs delight, Wellington United despair. It's been a superb cup final, but it's the 15-year-old substitute, Ella Jerez, who makes the difference, coming off the bench in the second half to score a late winner. Western Springs win it 2-1 here at North Harbour Stadium.
What an incredible moment for Ella Jerez. A very stylish and well-taken goal for the winner. And what nice symmetry for Western Springs.
So Western Springs take out the first of our 2 cup finals this afternoon. They back up from 2007. Wellington United brave in defeat, but defeated they are. Western Springs winning the Kate Sheppard Cup by 2-1.
The Fern is a symbolic representation for all New Zealanders and has been reimagined to represent all of football in Aotearoa, New Zealand. A circular shape not only symbolises the round ball used by all those that play the game, but also, and more importantly, represents the strength and infinite connection created by all those that play a part of the game. With each piece of the fern recognising and acknowledging those that make the beautiful game beautiful. The stalk represents our grassroots, our communities, our clubs, our volunteers and our fans. They are the foundation and are at the centre of all we do. The pinner represents our federations across the whole of New Zealand. Our federations guide and protect our clubs and communities, allowing everyone to be heard, to be represented and provide guidance and opportunities at every pathway. One brand identity with regional differentiation. Federations in New Zealand football working together to serve our communities, creating more than a game, creating a sporting whānau where everyone is welcome.
Well, welcome back. The celebrations have started, and Wellington United disappointed clearly, but Western Springs delighted at a Kate Sheppard Cup victory that looked very much in their control in the first half. They dominated proceedings and went to the half with that 1-0 lead, but Wellington United just really rolled up the sleeves and came back at them. Here is the opening goal of the match. Sami Tafaru just sliding that one into the far post, and that was a goal that they deserved. It was a lovely ball played by Kolpe. She's going to play a role in both goals, and you'll see that in our highlights package. And they looked in control. They calm, composed, and for a rare moment, Zoe Barrett losing track of her striker, and Tafaru made her pay the ultimate price. They went to the half with that lead, but Wellington United just completely transformed in the second half. And this was a scramble. There was some cause for concern there. That was Mickey Mitchell fouled in the act of the goal being scored, but it was given, and Gemma Robertson able to just bundle that over the line. And Wellington United, who had shown wonderful resolve and a change in their tactics and approach, and they were deserving of the equaliser. And at that point, really, it looked like Western Springs that were on the back foot. But then late in the match, the substitute, there's the pass from Kolpe, and look at the speed here of Ella Jerez, the 15-year-old. And very calmly, the poise of a veteran, just sliding that one home with the left foot inside the near post. Clean pair of heels, if ever there's been pictures to make that phrase true. Look at the speed here. And got her head up in time to slide it home, and that proved to be the winner. Western Springs winning the Kate Sheppard Cup final by 2-1, and adding to that 2007 title, and a runner-up finish beaten in the 2006 final. And we will hear from the respective captains momentarily and have the presentations for you. A reminder, we have the Chatham Cup final in its 100th year, the Chatham Cup final kicking off at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Let's stand by for our interviews with the skippers. And of course it will be a very disappointed, but she should be very proud, Wellington United skipper Hope Gilchrist, who was with Sarah Gibbs.
Well, I'm here with Hope Gilchrist, captain of the Wellington United team. Hope, commiserations, but a massive fight back in that second half.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously a bit disappointed with our first half performance. We're pretty reactive, so yeah, great to come out in the second half, put on a better show. Obviously disappointing with result, but congratulations to Western Springs. I think they're probably deserved winners on the day.
What were the messages in the sheds at half time?
A little bit of wake up and just getting some more movement up front. We were finding it hard with their press, so we just wanted to be a bit more fluid, I guess. Yeah.
And I'll throw that back up to you, Andrew.
And summing it up pretty well, that she's proud of her team and her second half comeback from Wellington United, but they left, perhaps even though it was only 1-0, they just left themselves a little bit too much to do after a fairly lacklustre first half performance. Lily Jervis will be much the happier of the two skippers, as you can imagine. She's standing by now with Sarah.
Lily, immediate reactions. Congratulations on the win today. Immediate reactions, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely over the moon. I think we spoke about it, and to go out there and get the win and to do it in the 89th minute was unbelievable.
You must have been surprised at the Wellington United side that came out in the second half. It was a completely different team. Did that take you by surprise?
Yeah, I think we definitely dropped off the ball in that first 10, but credit to them, they're an incredible side, real battle for us, but I think towards the end we picked it up, created a lot of chances, and in the end one went in, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was a nice bit of symmetry with the experience of Liv Savage, and then the winner obviously scored by your 15-year-old Ella Jerez. She must be very happy and a bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, absolutely. Both incredible players. I think Liz has got all that experience behind her, won a few of these things before. And for Ella to come out and score a goal in a moment like that is amazing. She's the future of women's football, in my opinion. She's incredible.
And a nice piece of symmetry for the club with your mid-season challenges to win this Kate Sheppard Cup. Obviously, Kate Sheppard, one of the most prominent figures in the women's suffrage movement in New Zealand.
Yeah, definitely. I think this was probably the most important one for us this year. We've spoke about kind of Kate Sheppard, what she did, what she achieved, and kind of we had the same goal of fighting for a better future for the young girls at Springs. So to go out there to win that, it's amazing. To have the club behind us as well is even more incredible.
And you got National League ahead of you, so a lot more football this season. Good luck for that, and enjoy the celebrations. Well done.
Awesome, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Back to you.
Lily Jervis with very appropriate comments there, given the backgrounds, the backstory for Western Springs this season. They made a stance and made a real statement with what they've looked to try and achieve for women's footballers at club level here in New Zealand. And the sacrifice, the suffering, if you like, from early in the campaign is made all the more worthwhile with victory today. And well played to these Western Springs women, and well played to the Western Springs club on and off the park for the decisions they've taken this season. Young fans there perhaps aspiring to one day wear that very same shirt in the first team perhaps, and have their own moment as we now prepare to head down to the presentations for the Kate Sheppard Cup final for 2023.
The awards today will be New Zealand Football President Johanna Woods, New Zealand Football Vice President Scott Moran, New Zealand Football GM of Women's World Cup Legacy and Inclusion Paula Hansen, and Football Ferns legend Maya Jackman. Firstly, Maya will present the winner of the Maya Jackman Trophy for the best player in today's game. And the winner from Western Springs, Captain Lily Jervis. And next up, some people we couldn't do without. They did a great job today. Thank you to our officials, If they could come forward, please. So it's Anna-Marie Keeley. We also want to acknowledge Anna-Marie Keeley and Sarah Jones for their special achievement of attending their 3rd FIFA Women's World Cup this year. And they're being presented with a Football Ferns shirt signed by Johanna Wood to congratulate them on being part of this groundbreaking event. And now we call forward our runners-up today, Wellington United, to be presented with their runners-up medals. Ladies and gentlemen, Wellington United. And now we're pleased to present the winning team with their medals. Please welcome Western Springs. And now, folks, I'm pleased to welcome back the captain, Lily Jervois, as she has presented the Kate Sheppard Trophy for 2023. Your winners, Western Springs! Western Springs!